Way to code donors is by using classifications. Classifications can be anything you want them to be. You can have as many as you want, and you can assign as many as you want to any one name record. When it comes time to use them for reporting, you can use them in combination, and you can use them to exclude groups of people from lists. Let me give you some examples. If you want to keep track of all the people by eye color and height, you can create those classifications and then assign them appropriately. So you might have a classification for blue eyes, one for green eyes, brown eyes, people over 6 feet tall, people who are between 5 foot 6 inches and 6 feet, people between 5 foot and 5 foot 6 inches, etc. When it comes time to do a mailing, you may want to target all those with blue eyes who are over 6 feet tall. Or you may want to mail to anyone who's over 5 feet, but not if they have brown eyes. These scenarios are both possible using classifications. Of course, these classifications are probably not real-life examples, but they serve to give you the idea. I'm sure you're already thinking about how you will use classifications. Let me give you a real-life example. When a long-time donor is deceased, you usually don't want to delete their giving history, at least for a while. But you also don't want to continue to mail to them. You can easily create a classification called deceased and assign that to their name record. When you do a mailing, you can exclude that group from the list using classifications. Another example along these lines is people who call and ask you to stop mailing to them. Or they may want to get your newsletters but not other mailings that you might do. You can create classifications that fit those circumstances and again, use them to control your mailing lists. So let's look at how you create your list of classifications. We're going to go to the Donors tab and come down to Name Classifications. And since we're creating a new one, we'll click Add New. And the first thing we'll do is give it a description. So here we might put blue eyes if we were using that. And over here, again, the code is for Denari. And so we want to just make it really simple. And I'm going to put my initials with an underscore and BE. Finally, we have to use a category. Classifications are stored in 5 groupings called categories. When you set up a classification, you must put it into one of these 5. Now, there's only 4 showing here because this one is missing from the training company, but in reality, in your data, you'll have 5 categories. You cannot delete or add categories, but you can change the names of them to fit your circumstances, and we'll look at how we do that in a minute. For now, we'll just select one. And now we'll go and take a look at how we select classifications or assign classifications to names. Before we do that, let me just add a quick word here about the export name field. We'll discuss that field later when it comes to reporting. It's actually a field that has some control in name segmenter in terms of the output. And so we'll discuss that when we discuss training for name segmenter. So we would save this classification. And now we can go to the Donors tab. Go to Name List Management. We'll choose our donor here. And now we go to the Other Pages drop-down field and choose Classifications. And we see the 5 categories. I'll scroll down here so you can see them. These are the 5 categories that all of your classifications will be grouped into. To assign classifications to donors, we simply come over here to the left side, the available side, and we click on the one we want. Click the little arrow to move that over to the selected side. We can also reverse that. We can click on one in the selected side and take it away by moving it back to the available side, etc. We can also assign categories from various groupings, and these groupings actually do have some significance when it comes time to reporting. But the main thing to remember here is that you can create as many classifications as you want. You can assign as many classifications to your donors as you want. And then when it comes to reporting, we can use any of those combinations to get groups of lists and exclude groups, names from the list as well. And so by far, classifications is the most flexible way to code donors and the one that I think you'll use most often to keep track of your name lists. So just to review name codes briefly, we have several ways to code donors. We have the name code, we have name type, which is a required field. We have jurisdiction, which connotes ownership of a name record, and then kind of a cousin to that, the caseworker. And then finally, we have classifications. And again, classifications is by far the most flexible. So this concludes the section on codes. An important thing to remember is that codes are unique to their entities. You can't assign classifications, for example, to a gift or a pledge. You can't assign a fund code to a donor because a fund code is a characteristic of a gift. Keeping the codes straight and keeping them connected to their entities, in other words, a gift code belonging to a gift, a name code belonging to a name, a pledge code belonging to a pledge, etc., will greatly improve your reporting ability later on, and that will be discussed in the reporting videos.